Check. Is this thing on? Shout out to everybody here on the live. Thank you for jumping on in. Can Bitcoin make a comeback today? I think it just might. Shout out to each and every one of you for being here, sharing your most precious asset with me, and that is your time. Thank you so much for jumping on into the Crypto Lover Show. My team, my family, everybody out there, and all the lifers. Appreciate all the people that have been helped by this channel. They appreciate all the new people coming in, you coming, and all the base that keeps showing up every single day. God bless you all. Let's jump on into these charts. Let's take a look at BTC and see what's happening to Bitcoin. Today we have a cool thing going on at WEEX, okay? If you register today and net deposit 1,000 USDT and you trade 10,000 USDT in futures with just a 110x trade, basically, get a 50 USDT per user, limited to the first 5 people that jump on in. So it's a fast finger move there. And there you go. Bang, bang, badang. Hit the QR code, find out more, or go to a link I think we will have provided. So check it out. At WEEX, baby. At WEEX. Shout out to WEEX, streaming on WEEX, streaming around the world. God bless you all. Thank you for being here. So Bitcoin, let's take a look at this big picture right here. 65,300. We continue to climb. BOOKMAP getting outrageous movement here. A lot of volatility. You expected Tuesday, Wednesday, my favorite days to trade. I got to bring down that music. My heart is ripping. I'm pumping up. I'm pumped up right now. I had one sip of coffee. This is just pure adrenaline. 65,420 for Bitcoin. Ripping. Oh my God, what's going on? Oh my gosh, what's going on? So I woke up this morning down. Yeah. I wasn't up. I was down. I was down like, I think almost $900. Can you believe it? $900 as I started my morning. Looks like, I wasn't truly down because that beautiful trade on WorldCoin has got me positioned properly, and I'm waiting for the couple. I want to make 3 racks. Teach you how to make 3 racks a week, but it's going to take all day. You got to wait it out. Wow, 65,420 for Bitcoin. Let's take a look at what's happening here on my WEEX account and what happened. So I stayed in the long. Interesting enough. Look, I guess I'm not down too bad. Let's see what happened here. Yes, I was down like $900. Then I was down $880. I stayed in it. I didn't get stopped out. You can see there's my stop loss right there. I chose to be below this resistance. So as long as this resistance holds, I'm okay. And that's kind of the key to trading. You should always have a, as my rules yesterday, right? I followed my rules. My stop loss would have been invalidated by a key point on the chart, a place where the resistance would have not held. But look, it did hold. So far, we've double wicked there. That's a double bottom in the 4-hour time frame. I see a move to the upside for the 4-hour. Maybe I was just a couple hours too early. But, man, I'm still long for Bitcoin, and it's about to go right back to kind of where I saw it. And I see Bitcoin pumping up to the 200 moving average on the 4-hour time frame. I see a gap happening here. I guess they just wanted to clean out the late longs and flatten the little. Now they're going to come to the shorts. Anyone who thought they had it and was about to nail it, I think they might get wrecked. But we'll see what happens here. So I'm still in a long. You can see I'm underwater. But I'm truly still up on the day, so no worries, right? You know what I mean? Overall balance fine. So up 900 on this, still holding on to the WorldCoin. I want to see this thing pump. Amazing, and I made $900, look, out of 258, and it was up. This thing was up 500, 600%. I was up $1,400 last night. I just want to let it cook. It's a high leverage trade, 20x on a small coin. I just got to let it cook. I got to let it do its thing. My stop at break even, and nothing can happen there. I'm just going to either ride it to zero, ride it to absolute, to not losing anything, or I'm going to make a fat chunk of change there. So here we are with Bitcoin. I might be able to trade the smaller time frames. Nice little pump here for BTC. Cool thing about WEEX is I could also scalp the 1 minute now. It'd have nothing to do with this trade. And look, there, isn't that crazy? There it is. There's my signal. They dipped it today, though. So it's almost like, is it getting popular? Everyone's like, there's Sammy's, and then they just went and look. They would just grab everybody. I would have traded that. You know what I mean? Most of the time, that's going to pay me. Maybe I would have seen something. There was a little bear div here. As you can see, the RSI swinging down. There was some bearish divergence. RSI was clearly in a downtrend while price was in an uptrend. That could have given you a warning sign. Something was coming here for Bitcoin, And now if I really want to get down, I just would sit patiently just like this. It's all about patience. The longer you wait for a setup, the more likely you're to win because most people can't wait. That's what hit me one day. I said, if I use patience, I said, most people can't do anything like that. They can't use any type of patience. So if I use even a little bit of patience, I'm going to basically get myself away from the herd. The idea is most people are going to get liquidated and lose the whole position. So we don't want to be most people. You see what I'm saying? So that's kind of what it comes down to, right? Yeah, so it was close there, right? Yeah, I was going for 70K. I was going for a big move. I'll show you what happened last night. And I'm lucky I didn't get cleaned out. So then, there we are. And there we were. We're going to do our top 10 analysis for BTC. We'll see what happens. But will Sammy get clapped? Or will I get out of this alive? You know what I mean? Will I make it through? Or are they going to, come and get me there on the line? We'll see what happens. It looks kind of head and shouldery. Not amazing. Bitcoin is struggling today. If I have to lose my G, I lose my G. It is what it is, right? I went for a bigger trade there on that 4-hour time frame. My favorite night to trade, Tuesday. It was the summer, so I guess I was taking a bigger risk. Now, when we look at Bookmap, it suggests that we're going lower. It says 64,330. Said we cleared the top. Now we want to come clear the bottom. If we look at it, the most liquidity is right there. That's red. And we've been hitting big red pretty nicely recently, almost every single time. The last month and a half, if it's been red, we've hit it. Meaning if there's more red anywhere, we're going to go there before we do anything else. So, you don't know what's going to happen for sure. I'm not going to predict, Bitcoin. I always say I know nothing but the fact of my own ignorance, right? I have no idea. You have no idea. I have no idea. Both of us, we don't know where Bitcoin's going to go. We can use assumptions. We can use a bunch of indicators. We can pat ourselves on the back and tell ourselves we nailed it. But nobody truly knows where Bitcoin's going to go. I believe over time they're going to continue to print money. That's a pretty simple bet. I've seen it in history after history. Thousands of different centuries. Thousands of different civilizations have printed money, and over time it hasn't worked out to be the best. You know what I mean? Maybe with GDP of another thing too is things could become less expensive. What if everyone gets a robot that can do almost anything? It can clean your gutters for you. It can fix what you know what I mean? Next thing you know, you don't have to call the gutter guy for $300. And over time, what if it can do multiple things? And maybe it's an initial $50,000 investment, even $100,000 for a good robot. But what if after it just starts paying for itself once it's, you know what I mean? And what happens then when everyone has a robot, pays for itself, all these small tasks are eliminated? It's an interesting thing, but that's kind of the next step in AI robotics if you got to think about it. And that's the future. So if that's the future, that's kind of where we can begin to invest too. I love Bitcoin, don't get me wrong. Always, I think that's kind of the scalable stack. That's where money should be saved over time. As far as I'm concerned, you do whatever makes you happy. And maybe some different ventures, maybe, you know what I mean? Real estate, rental income. Cash producing assets and Bitcoin. I have, nothing but great things to say about both of them. I like Bitcoin, and there are ways to produce some cash from it, but it's risky. It's got to be taken out of the hardware wallet, or something has to be done to it instead of it staying in cold storage. So every time Bitcoin gets moved, to me, it's risky. So even if there's a return on that, to me, there's a return on the risk. And sometimes I don't know if the return outweighs any of the risk. And it's not yet perfect yet how we're going to, you know what I mean? Coinbase actually, with better.com, has this new way of making a mortgage with BTC. And I put that out on my X account. Follow my X account. We're pumping out a lot of news recently and just really giving you the sauce. But that's been interesting. And, that's something that has me going. Because I'm like, if that can continue and that gets more popular, that's a big deal. And so, and they say non-liquidation on that. I got to look into everything and kind of how it is. But I'd like to do a video about that, maybe even today, to kind of break it down for you. So stay tuned and see what we have cooked up for you later. All right. 65,190 for Bitcoin. Can we get the bounce? I'm watching it here on the 1 minute. It is looking a little shoulder head, make some right shoulders, but we could make some type of pattern here. We'll see. We are above the 200. We got a little bit of a move. Can we continue this nice trend of higher lows here on the 1 minute that will blend to the 515 and kind of get us an actual return here. 4 hour actually looks pretty good too. But again, that will close at the end of the show, 12, and we'll see where that closes. If that closes bullish engulfing, that can give us a bit of a move. And just because this is red doesn't mean it has to go there. I'm just saying it's been 100% for the last 40 days. It's been like spot on. You know, I don't think there's been days when it's been right there and we've ripped to the upside. It's not, I'm not telling you it is 100%. And that's the one kind of crazy thing about it. Every once in a while, it's not going to, you know, but that's why you use technical analysis and bookmap at the same time. And most of the time, you know, I'm seeing what I see on TA, and I'm like, yeah, that's a go. And then I go to here, and they coincide. You know, sometimes they don't, sometimes they do. Most of the times they do. You know, and that's kind of helps me. You know, and basically that's another way for me to checklist a trade. You know, okay, yeah, they got liquidity. And that way I'm just not jumping in for no reason. I'm jumping in for, you know, I can see where price action's looking. I can see what's going down on the back end. It makes sense, you know. And hit my link to Bookmap if you really want to become a champion of your trading. A trading platform displays market liquidity. Check what the candlesticks are hiding. You see candlesticks, I see your stop loss and your liquidations. You see what I'm saying? Are you understanding kind of what I'm doing here and how we're using liquidity? We can see where people are. These places of red are your stop losses and your liquidation areas. Like, so a bunch of people went long on this pump, got excited. They can easily get liquidated here at 64,320. I'd be among probably some of the stop. I'd be among, I might be in that chunk right now, right? Where's my stop? 64,461. Yeah, so like, you know, they're gunning for me now. Makes me say, hey, I should just close the trade out. You know, but I'll watch the TA to see what happens. But if I get stopped out and they come for me on a right shoulder head, right shoulder, then, or they just start coming for me now, it's like, well, Bookmap was telling me that it's red right below me, and that's where the most people are, and they're going to get the most people. Makes me almost want to just kind of cut off the trade now. Got lucky we got the bounce when we did, back to 65,450. Wow, they're dumping us now to 65.99. Key is not to panic, always stay calm, and only risk what you're willing to lose. I'm willing to lose the 1,000 for the game. It is what it is. We've had a good run the last few weeks. No worries. I'm not stressed. We'll go from there, right? And the other trades, Kuka 2, it's up 1,000 right now, 928. So just letting it cook and continue. And look, $5 in fees. You can't beat funding fees, $3. Like transaction fees, $2. Like you can't beat that. Look at that. And that's trading on weeks, baby. So 65,150 for Bitcoin. Let's get into our top-down analysis. USOIL taking the dump. Might get a little bounce. That is the daily 200 moving average. You get a bounce there almost every time. If you're coming to it from the upside, you get a bounce down. If you're coming from the downside, that one was a pretty good fall and that kind of resistance of it. It would be nice if we kind of lose it and then continue to dump. I do see oil continuing to go a little lower before it maybe bottoms out. Eventually it will bottom out though, which is crazy. It will continue to have its moves over time. So, you know, it's like, it's never, nothing goes up forever, nothing goes down forever. We'll be in this kind of ping pong, but we've won the battle so far. Oil has taken the beat down, kind of descending triangle there, and then just continued to kind of flop. So there you have it. Oil to the downside and hitting the daily 200 moving average. You expect a little bit of a bounce. Now you got to get back to that 21-day moving average. It's the same thing. And so if you're bearish, you'll make a bear flag and continue lower. If one missile, something goes off, something happens, which I don't want to, you know what I mean? But we've been hit so many times with this, it's over. It's not. I guess, you know, all of us are at that moment where we're just like, the markets have become a more rubberish, which I mean is like, they don't, you know, bounces like rubber bounces. They don't care as much, right? When you keep doing something to the public over and over again, eventually we'll get kind of soft to it. You do see what I'm saying? It just, you know, it goes the other way too when they try to brainwash people, like they slowly induce. But when you know, maybe that's what they're doing, like just getting us so used to war all the time that we just like can't, you know. But that's kind of what it, maybe it is a psyop. I just realized it probably is a psyop on us right now. I didn't even, you know. Just to have this like, it's on, it's not, no, it's not on, no, it's on, no, it's not on. Like someone's doing it. I mean, that's psychological, right? I mean, it seems like psychological warfare for sure. So anyway, back into what we're talking about here. So US oil, you know, it just like Bitcoin, it either makes a massive bounce back to that or it starts to go down. And you'd say, well, how do you know? Anyone could say it can go either way, Sam. Yeah, but we actually would find the 4-hour and look for the tweezer bottom. And look, I mean, it can make it, or look for the right shoulder. Or it continues to make a descending triangle. Like if it does something like this, then you can short it. If it goes up like this, then you long the right shoulder. You could be bold and long right now with the stop loss below because it does have the beginnings of a reversal. And that's completely up to you, right? So that's the high. So there's like the low risk trade is the right shoulder. The high risk trade is to get in maybe last night or today or even right now. Stop loss below here, see if you get the pump, and you could ride the wave up to here, sell right around here. You know, you get in here, stop loss here, wait for it to make the right, you know, you're front running the idea that it will reverse. It is bouncing off the daily 200 moving average too, which also helps you out. So even if it's bearish and it hits this and starts to dump, you're not saying that oil is reversing and the whole world's changing. You're just saying I could get this move out of this setup. I'm looking for this move. And you can kind of repeat that too. If there's the divergence there, even better. Not much in the one, you know, there's a pretty good divergence there on the 4-hour, on the 1 hour. Not much on the 4-hour, I meant to say, but pretty good one here on the 1 hour. You know, and their indicator calls it. My mind sees it. It's a pretty good divergence. But right now, you got to break back above that previous high then, you know, and then you got to come up to here to 80. Again, trading oil. Just like we trade Bitcoin, it's the same story. It's the same way. Moving averages are far apart. When the 21 gets that far away, we usually do dump. So that tells you, like, we could have the, you know, you can start to kind of see a possible head and shoulder here forming for oil, which would be inverted. I've got the chart flip. Anyway, it's fun, isn't it? Isn't technical analysis amazing? For people just listening, I know you could visualize it and you had a blast. So let's take a look at Bitcoin. I talked about a possible reversal call here. If you took the call in the trading group at about 64,870, we did get the pump. And it looks like we may hit the target. It is 3-1. At one point, we were about halfway to the target there at 65.5. We'll see what happens to this 1 hour candle. We're chasing back to that 21. And yeah, but that's kind of the last thing that we were left with here on BTC, right? Okay, looking at Bitcoin on the big picture, let's go look at the monthly here and have some fun. And every single day, if you come to this channel, we do what's called a top-down analysis for Bitcoin, where we break down BTC. And I kind of go over where I see it going in the big time frames, and we've been really good at tracking it. You know, my strategy told me that when this was overbought here, like, it just told me that, you know, it wasn't, things weren't kosher, right? Anyway, so when the 200 is away from the 21, which is the white line, that's when you know things are getting overbought and extended. We were very far on the weekly, like, you know what I mean? Look at that. I mean, it was like, and you'll have a bearish divergence. The RSI will be pointing down while price action will be pointing up, and you'll be in what's called a rising wedge. Right, and then this even made what we call a Adam and Eve double top, right? So it was a top signal for Bitcoin, and it did exactly the measured move. Then it makes a bear flag. That has a measured move of a leg. It's started from this little signal there. Then we made another bear flag, which has this measured move, right? Which just so far got caught by the 200 moving average. We'll see where we could still make another one. You see? They are getting smaller over time, just like in a bull market. What I've learned is, like, the bull flags get smaller over time. Price slows down either way. You just get exhausted, like you pump, and then you just can't seem to be pumped. You know, each high is so much high. You know, first a higher high, that's huge. Higher high here is pretty, you know, then like, you're just getting closer together. Same thing here. You'll get your low, then your low, and as the lows keep getting closer, you're rounding on out. And you're just getting tired. I see Bitcoin kind of hanging out, you know, and we're going to go over all this, but I'm starting to kind of see what we're doing. Another thing that I've noticed is this is when Bitcoin starts to flatten out. Or any asset in the world, and this is any asset. But your 200 is going to start doing this. Your 21 should do that. These should kind of hang out. This should come down a little bit. That should come down a little bit. Honestly, for that to happen too, we need to go, we kind of drop a little bit more. Because then we could pull the moving averages. But we could also pump and pull the 200 up. Yeah, so we don't have to, but the whole point is what's going to happen is we need to get all these moving averages to tight and nice. Just like this. And when they start to get tight and nice, that, my friends, is going to be the time. That's what, you know what I mean? The bottom will be before that. We're buying the bottoms now. That's why every single dump, we take advantage. Every time I see this fear and greed go into a crazy place, I mean, we saw it 5 twice and at 8. We had to take advantage of those prices. Be fools not to take advantage of those prices. So whenever I saw this indicator at those places on the 2-week chart, the stochastics RSI was also low. That's my like marriage right there. Those two things, and I'm in there like swimwear, like every single time. I know you spit your coffee out. Don't worry. So let's take a look at what's happening here for on the monthly. Let's break it. So let's just get back to what I was talking about. So we do a top-down analysis every day on the channel, as well as kind of tracking the live trade. Bitcoin's still in about not looking amazing. You know, going sideways, looking like it is making that right shoulder head, or right shoulder. Looking like we may get a collapse here down on the 1 minute, which will send us lower. No guarantees though. We might get a beautiful bounce. Let's see. But it's looking kind of head and shouldery to me if I had to call it. But the volatility, it is Fed day. And I forgot that's a crazy day to trade too. So I'm in a day when the market is going to be highly speculative. And there's going to be probably, usually there's sideways price action until Kevin Warsh comes out. And I just think there's going to be euphoria for Kevin Warsh. People are I think the change in Jerome Powell is just going to be kind of enlightening. It's going to be very interesting to see what the people have to say. He was very awesome when the last time we watched him get interviewed. You know, it was pretty, you know, he did his thing. So we'll see. I think, you know, only time will tell. But, like, that looks like a head and shoulder pattern that's about to dump in our face. Adds to a descending triangle, but you can kind of see the head and shoulder there. And they'll go and grab that liquidity right below us and just take me out. Or are they faking all this? And do I stay in like a bold trooper? Like, this is crazy, right? Right now, I can get out cheap for 5. This could go up to 3 and it act like it never happened. You know what I mean? It's a little boo-boo. Still up 2,500 on the next few days, so... But, I mean, the markets are telling me what they want, but let's see. I'm defying the odds now, which isn't the smartest idea. I'm being stubborn, which is, you know, can be an issue. That's why it's good to know what you're willing to lose or not. That way it doesn't matter if you're stubborn or not. Right? It has held me well over time in some instances. We'll see if this one is one of them. So the monthly looks interesting. And what I see is I can see the next leg for Bitcoin. It's clearly here. Like, that's just, you know what I mean? And you can see, I mean, the next bigger leg opens up. Now, everyone's saying $400,000, $500,000 Bitcoin. I don't know. We got a lot of money coming in. We hit $2 trillion in market cap or more. Now we're back down, you know. So it's just 21 million. I mean, we must have hit. Yeah, I just want to take a look at the exact market cap Bitcoin hit, because pretty amazing if we think about it. Yeah, so the highest it ever was about, and this is always a little, $2.48 trillion. Now it's sitting at about 1.54. So the whole point, I mean, so we're going to need another $2 trillion. All right. Right. We're going to need another $2 trillion. We gotta double up again. Yeah. Or right now we need about $1 trillion. But then if we want to go even higher, you see what I'm saying? So we need about $2 trillion. Right. To get to 173. I'm not saying it's not coming out of nowhere. We do have, what, there's $200 trillion in gold. And we saw gold flip and flop like a, dude, they took this is crazy. Everyone talks about meme coins and everyone talks about no liquidity and this and that. They took a $200 trillion asset and flipped and flopped it like a dolphin. I think someone was telling us something about the world markets in the last couple, and this last year was an anomaly, right? It was an anomaly for gold, anomaly for silver. People had never seen the stuff that we saw this year, never in history. And it's because the dollar is also just so inflated at this point that other assets are just so overinflated that the tipsy-topsy-turvy relationship between them is highly volatile because of the lack of, like, if everything was more stable in the dollar's less stable, so that makes everything kind of between each other all tipsy-turvy. Oil's this price. No, oil's worth this now. No, Bitcoin's worth this versus oil. No, gold's worth oil, this and that. No, gold's worth less than oil and Bitcoin because, and it's all based on risk factors and news at the split second of massive amounts of money moving the markets. It's been insane. Honestly, that's been a psyop. That in itself is a psyop. 100%. Like, say I'm wrong. You know what I'm saying? So, anyway, enough with the my team's enough with the. I'm saying that almost as a joke is for traders because like I know there's a lot of traders out here and shout out to WEEX. No, but trading they're trying to get in your head all the time as a trader, and I want you to remember that you got to stick to the charts. The charts are the most important thing that you can be sticking to. All right, they're going to give you the insight that you need and provide the data that you're looking for. Anything else is futile. Like, you know what I mean? All right. I think I might have forgot. Okay, no, we're good. Okay. Lurking at a professional level. Thanks as always, Sam, man. Shout out to my man, Black Dogs. I love you, brother. I see you, man. You've been around. Shout out to the Dirty Skirts. Under the 97 likes. Come on, livers. Oh, yeah. There's probably more. Just refresh. Yeah, not a great sign. Shout out to God is Love, man. And it looks like we're getting a pretty big dump here to the downside, just kind of as it said it would. Bitcoin doing exactly what it says. Coming to that 200 moving average on that 1 minute time frame. It's like, here, kitty, 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 kitty. Here, kitty, kitty, kitty. Shout out to the shorts who took the right shoulder smartly as I stubbornly sit in my long here on WEEX. But you never know. It might bounce. Bounce it for me. Send in a whale and get it to bounce. Send in a giant whale and send it to bounce. Casino no. Did we check XAU? If not, any chance you can, bro. I'm getting married soon, so it's kind of important. Wow. I mean, the most important thing is that you're getting married. Nothing else. No stock should be important because of your marriage, or I guess you're going to spend money on it or something, I guess. And you want to get a ring or... But so anyway, watching this tight price action here. The monthly very well might just bounce a tiny bit. It might close somewhere between this $59,000 and $61,000 level. Still hold a big wick there. You see what I'm saying? Because the wick went down to like pretty low. Let's see how low. 59,130 was the low. And maybe we just somewhere, I don't know, somewhere it might be, I'm not saying, maybe 60 to 63,000. Okay. And then we open up again. We dump a little more. We come back up. We just kind of stay in this area. Make some type of chunky head, then a right shoulder possible. We just kind of stay here for a couple months. Maybe we get one more mass liquidation right here at like 52, 54. And then we bounce. We get back to 60, 62 pretty fast. We hover and then we start, we break this high. We bounce off of it. And bang, I mean, we just kind of, once the monthly closes above this tweezer top
at about, let's see, that high was 70, wasn't it 71,280, was it? No, the high, 79,485. Once we close above 79,485, right? Is that, yeah, it's got to be it, yep, because that's where we opened, no, I think it's got to be, yeah, no, it's got to be lower than that. I want this candle, the open, the high. Oh, yeah, with the close, 76,346. So once we close above like 76.5, let's say, I mean, that month, that's kind of when the bear market is over. Because at that point, if the monthly can get above a previous high, monthly never, like, the monthly doesn't lie. Like, once it breaks a previous high, you see what I'm saying? Once it breaks up, like, once we got below this high on the monthly, you had to know that some, you know, and then we made a lower high here below this low. So now the only way out is for the monthly to break out again. The monthly has taken over the position that the weekly used to have, because we didn't have enough data on the monthly to trade it, so the algorithms couldn't even pick up on it. But now the algorithms are digging into the monthly because the monthly actually has just enough data. See what I'm saying? Like, we didn't have a bull flag on this, but we've had, you know, on the 1 hour, we've had thousands of these. On the 4 hour, we have less. But on the daily, we have a little less, but we have them. You see what I'm saying? There was a time when Bitcoin was so young, it didn't even have a bull flag on the daily yet. You couldn't track the daily. It didn't have the information. So look, I stayed strong. They're going after the shorts, and then they bounced and dumped it in a second. Look at this volatility. Ripped and did. I mean, that's in the last 3 minutes. They are just playing with price action right now. But that's such a great concept to think about, right? That blows my mind, what I just said. How you have to, like, you know, you can track this stuff, and as it expands over time, the bigger time frames take over too. Okay. Maybe a dumb question. What causes trade funding rates to be positive or negative? Are you enjoying the stream? Show your appreciation and hit the like button. You know, it's an interesting concept to think about, right? And that's why you join my trading group. Because it's all a lot of information is there for you all the time. All right. Let me see here. Let me see. Anyway, I wanted to show you something, but it depends on how many traders are taking sides on the trade, right? If you're heavy long or heavy short, it will you know, if too many people are on one side of the trade, it changes the funding rate, right? It depends on how much future margin is being used on either end. You see, it's all about, like, the, you know, how many people are paying to get, it's all about, like, the funding rate is like who's getting funded, right? What does funded mean? It means, like, hey, I'm using 10x leverage on my long, but you're using 30x leverage on your short. So you're more funded than me. You're more leveraged than me. So they would pay me to open my trade. You would pay to open your trade, to keep your trade open. So you would pay a funding rate. I would pay, you know, sometimes you can get paid to have a trade open if you counter trade the herd, which is kind of crazy. And you'll see that your realized P&L will be going up while you're in the trade. And you didn't do anything. You didn't take any money. You're like, why am I up $150? Because the funding rate is paying you because you're on the opposite side of the trade, right? So just kind of one thing to think about. I wanted to break it down even better, and I had something well written. So before I, you know, and let me see here. But that was going to be also a topic of today, you know. So look out for my video later on today. I'm going to break down a lot of that information so you can kind of get a handle of it, okay? You're going to like it. I know I'm doing a dangle there, but you're going to really like it. Trust me. You're going to love it. Wow, massive dump for Bitcoin. Just massive. Like, and it is, look, shoulder, kind of head and shoulder pattern. Looks like they're going to come for me. Do I mitigate at least? Wow. Do I hold off? Usually there's a bounce here. Let's see if I can stay stone cold in the face of danger. Nice, calm, cool, and collected. I'm willing to lose my 968. It's okay. I'll lick my wounds and be okay. I'll make it. Sad to say it'll cancel out the win right now, but I'll be at break even. Let's see, a little bit of a bounce here so far. Had I went too crazy and got emotional, you just got to stay calm. But look at the craziness today now on price action. And everyone's looking at the news. What's happening? Who's saying what? What's going on, right? And it's like a freak out competition over the news. Absolute insanity. But, I I was just thinking the other day, it doesn't matter really what's happening. It's about keeping your energy up and keeping your mind right. You know, and as long as you're on the right track all the time, to constantly keep pushing yourself, everything will make sense. Today's market, Bitcoin faces mild pressure from ETF outflows, but is overshadowed by stronger bullish catalysts. Positive Fed signals BlackRock's new income ETF launch. It's kind of interesting. They do have an income ETF launch. I was thinking about that the other day. Using geopolitical tensions from the U.S.-Iran deal are lifting risk sentiment. Overall tone for crypto feels constructive with improving macro and institutional backdrops. Right? So spot Bitcoin saw a net 64 million outflow on Monday, almost entirely from Grayscale, which lost 124 million. Other crypto ETFs for Ether, XRP, Solana saw inflows. So they're putting, positive inflows into Bitcoin. I remember another thing too is we have the Fed today, and we also have Juneteenth on Friday, which is the bank closure. So we got a smaller week today, which will definitely impact the markets. All right. One last thing, if you're trading live on WEEX right now, as we speak, right, and you basically open up a new account, you net deposit 1,000 during this event right now while we're live streaming, and you trade 10,000 USDT in futures, you'll get 50 USDT limited to the first 5 people that jump on in. So there it is, just something to do right now on the live stream. If you're curious, if you're going to trade anyway and you got a plan and that was kind of a similar position size, well, then there you have it. At least there's something back there on your, the buffer, your stop loss or whatever you're going to use it for, whatever you want, again, see what happens. And again, or do nothing, right? I am not a financial advisor. Nothing I say, you're going to do nothing at all. Like I'm not, just it's out there if you'd like to do it. So shoulder, head, right shoulder there on the monthly. Doesn't look amazing. Suggests that we would dump, right? If you were like just, that just is what it is. And it suggests we would dump to 14, 15,000. Does that mean we could get down to 25? There's a chance, 31. I mean, I'm open-minded to all of these things. You never know. I wouldn't like to see it. It looks more likely we're going to hang out here in this little area for a while and then eventually bounce back to the upside. But you never know. I mean, that's also a perfect story that everyone would like to read. So we're definitely closer to the bottom than the top. I want to see this 2-week candle put in a tweezer bottom on Sunday night, which is going to be nice, right? And at least we can get some type of reversal here on the 2-week. Possible inverted head and shoulder. There's bullish divergence on the 2-week chart, which is very rare. Right? The last time we were this low on the 2-week on the RSI, look, even near to this point, like let's double click here. Basically, we're lower than we were. Wow, that's crazy. When you draw a line here, and even I'll put an H, horizontal line. Look, we went lower. Where was this? You know where that was, right? It was the bear market low right there of 2022. And we started the divergence, ended it on a high. Here, we've already ended the divergence. You see what I'm saying? We're kind of right there now. So there's the low, there's the hum, there's the secondary low with the high, and it's interesting. And look, the RSI stochastics are actually in the exact same place per level wise, like we were right here. And we have this little pullback, but we could still, like this had a little boom, boom, boom. So interesting, you know what I mean? RSI was never, this is the lowest the RSI has ever been on the 2-week chart, one of the bigger charts I use. And I'm telling you, whenever the fear and greed is in the single digits in the shaded region, and the stochastics RSI are below the dotted line, I look at this and I see that we're below the dotted line. Look, this is here in 2018. Great time to buy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times in Bitcoin's history in the last 8 years. Yeah. So, you get a chance every year, basically. You get a low. 2018, you get a low. 2 years later, you get a buy. About a year later, you get a buy. A year later, you get a buy. That was okay still, but, here you get a good buy in 2024. This one took a while, 2 years. About a year later, you get a good buy. And here you're getting a good buy again about a year and a half later. So it looks like Bitcoin gives you these little discount prices once a year. You see what I'm saying? Over time, and the fear and greed will hit this massive low. This indicator will hit a low, and they'll coincide. I'm giving you basically how I've made all my money. That's the majority of my life right there. And if you do that, you can put this on any asset in the world and just do the same. you know, find another indicator that, you know, even the RSI is basically the fear and greed. When you're this low, that's high, that's low. The fear should be crazy. When you're this high, the greed should be crazy. And it is. I mean, they coincide. When this was like this, the greed on this thing was way over here screaming, and the RSI was getting, you know, beat to the ground. You had a divergence. Once you understand how to trade with me, you're going to understand that you were over trading, or, you know, you couldn't see a certain signal. Now you'll see it. Now you have the education. It's like you had goggles on. Now you can see. It's not going to be as hard for you as it used to be once you know what you're doing. All right? And you just have to have faith, too. Look at that bounce right back to the upside. I stayed calm, cool, and collective. And look, they're just gunning. They're running and gunning today. For anyone that wants to play emotionally and trade this, you know, I'm just going to sit tight and do my thing. I'm looking for a pump with Kevin Warsh. I believe the markets are going to respond really positively to this guy. For whatever reason, I just think the way he answers questions is, I don't know. I think it's going to be a breath of fresh air for whatever reason. I'm looking for this to continue. That's my model right now. I get back to break even sooner than I know it. As long as I just stay. Look, I mean, look, I could have panicked, sold $1,000. I'm staying calm. This is cooler than winning a trade, sitting in a loss and just kind of staying with it. And showing you guys how drawdown can, you know, you never know. This could turn into a massive trade. What if there's some crazy news? Something could happen in a second. Oil just starts, you know, dumping again, you know. And look, we're above the 200 moving average, above on the 21 now. This is my model. Now, shoulder, shoulder. Now we flip the script here. So we had the head and shoulder. We took the dump. So look, this was a shoulder, head, right shoulder. It had a measured move, which is the length here to here. You brought it to the neckline. The neckline is here to here. And look, you can do all this on beautiful weeks. Isn't it amazing? Look, you can even, like some, you know how I make these usually white? Settings, hit it, turn it white. Bang. Done, right? Now look, they'll be white. Instead of bleu. Instead of cordon bleu. So look, let's see what happens here. I'm looking for a right shoulder for Bitcoin. I'm looking to dig my way out of this hole. Possibly two right shoulders. Possibly what's called a complex inverted head and shoulder with a measured move out the neckline, you know, the back line here. Get me to break even, then we can talk. Get out of this hole. Will Sammy dig out of the hole, folks? Or is he going to be in perpetuity, you know, down in perpetuity? Or is he going to be down in perpetuity? There it is. I know I can speak English sometimes. Okay. Dip before the rip. Yeah, they're protecting oil. They're going to the 30s to couple with Kevin Warsh. Step it in. I'm in everything. Says that I should set it up. That's why I'm sticking it in the long. Interesting. T neutral set the other wallet. Okay. Buenos mornings to the gentlemen and the two ladies. No, there's more than two ladies. All right. Okay. Shout out to all the beautiful people here on the live. Thank you for jumping on in. I appreciate each and every one of you for being here. All right. Okay, so a nice little bounce here back to the upside. If we can hold the 200 moving average, though, on the weekly. I don't like what's happening to this red candle. I mean, I've seen a red candle close, and we've defied it. So it doesn't mean like right there we did one, and we still pumped above it. But it kind of forebode what was coming later on, in a way, right? So you have to assume we're making a lower low. This is just going to make some type of bear flag, or even just kind of like a right shoulder here inside the flag and dump. So you have to assume this is going to be a shoulder, a head, a right shoulder, and we're going to end up somewhere around here, right? Just because that's the trend, and the trend's your friend. So like, I'm not, you know, I don't want to see this. This is not what I want to even talk to people about. I just have to go over the facts. Like, this is what we're, you know, this is it. And then we really get people scared at 48.40. That will be a real liquidation. Solana at $30, you know, and things will get pretty bad right there. But I mean, that will be amazing for the people who, I know so many people waiting for these prices. Thing is, Bitcoin usually doesn't give the late comers exactly, you know what I mean? The people that were buying this dip, buying this dip, buying this dip, buying this dip. The people that bought all these dips usually get rewarded, because these are hard. Like, it's not easy to do that. These people that just keep waiting for the dip, a lot of times never get it. See what I'm saying? Like, Bitcoin doesn't always reward the latecomers. Usually it doesn't. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. But you never know, man. There's a chance that some people have orders down there and they do get filled. Maybe some whale brings it down because that's kind of, they get to ride a trend there. So you never know. Right now, it does suggest you're going to make a lower high. Because you had a high, then you made a higher high. Had to come down and make a higher low at that point. Then you made a lower high compared to here. It's kind of, here you got to make the higher high. That's why I was, I figured we were definitely going to, it's weird. Like, you broke the trend on the high, but didn't, and then, you're supposed to make a higher low. But you got to buy the first higher low. We didn't get the higher low, so now we got to break this high again. Like, this is, for instance, we got to break this high yet again. This area, really, these two lines make up a bubble, but you got to get above 72.8. If you can't get above 72.8, we're kind of stuck in the mode, right? Usually we'd have ripped by now. When Bitcoin bangs, it's just playing right now. It's going to play until Kevin Warsh comes out. Yeah, you're going to see sideways price action on Fed Day until the Fed meeting. That's it, you know what I mean? We'll get the rate. They'll tell us what the rate is. We know what it is. This tool has been 100% right every time I've used it. It's never been wrong. 99.6% chance that it stays exactly where it is. So nothing crazy is coming. You know what I mean? July, you want to look to the future. You want to look to July. Same exact story. You want to look to September. It starts to shift in September. You see this? And this could shift. Like, I've seen this change now, and this could go up. So, possible, but it's and then it starts to kind of shift again here, and then by December, it's saying we're going to get, so it's rate cuts by December, which will be front run in November for a pump. You see what I mean? But it doesn't suggest rate cuts down the line as well. So we'll see. Actually, look, it says a rate increase. Look at that. It says actually, that's not a cut. It says an increase is more possible by December. That's kind of crazy, right? I just read that. Look at that. It says an increase. So it shifts the other way. It doesn't look amazing. I don't know. That's sketchy. The projection for July of 2027 is like so unlikely we get any type of rate cut. Isn't that crazy for the next year? I don't know. We'll see what happens if that will change. I've never gone that far out on that. But right now that's pretty sketchy. Yeah, let's see what happens. I mean, it's good that Bitcoin kind of just went out and liquidated all the lows first. Usually it's almost like it was waiting, and now it's the odds are a little higher. It will go up now during the Fed meeting and go after anyone who jumped into that short, because it likes to liquidate as many people as possible. That induced a lot of shorts. That was a massive candle that really got it stirred up the emotions. I'm not going to say I was emotional. You know what I'm saying? Me? Emotional? Come on now. Never been emotional in my life. No, but you know what I mean? The thing, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It's the idea is like, I could see how a beginner could get emotional by that candle. I like how I did that. Yeah. That makes sense. I could see how a beginner could get, So 5-day gives caution. 3-day gives caution. Daily gives caution. With 2 red candles now coming in a row. Really need to fight off the bears here. I see this as a flag that broke out already. You kind of have some support now where you've pumped. Right there. And there's a node there, 63.8, right? So, hey. We just hit the 21 though. Yeah, it does, you do want to kind of flag it here. See that? And then you'd be like, shoulder. Isn't that crazy? Like, when you look at it upside down, you can almost be like, dang, like, I've seen that many a time. It's still about, they're far away though too, and you got some divergences. And that was the lowest the RSI's. Look, it got into that shaded. It doesn't do that normally. Like, Took a lot of sell pressure to do that is what it's telling you. The RSI basically gives you confidence to buy the lows because it tells you, hey, you're not always right, but you're going to be right most of the time if you buy it here. You see what I'm saying? So what we do as traders is we don't know. We don't have a crystal ball. We don't know bottoms or tops. What we do know is we know when this indicator is super low and when the stochastics are low and you're near a 200 moving average on a big time frame, that you're like 90% right that you're near the bottom. And that you're like probably within 10 or 20% of the actual bottom. And that's when you begin to deploy capital at these low, you know what I mean? At these kind of high, and these are low risk, higher reward areas. You know, you can't chase top markets. You can't chase markets that have been ripping for days on end. Like, you got to find something that's been a little distressed near its daily 200, but still has a working capital, working company. You know, you don't want to find out the stock's distressed because the company's bankrupt. Like, you do have to do some homework when it comes to the stock market, I believe. You know what I mean? Again, not financial advice. Nothing I say you should be taken as it, but like, I believe you should do your own research when doing anything, right? Yeah, the next dump of the daily would give that bullish divvy. Yeah. I think Vegas Claw is 15 years old. I kind of figured it out, right? And that's why we never saw him. His mommy couldn't drive him to Vegas. They wouldn't let him in the casino, right? He's 15 years old. I don't know. I might be joking. I love you, Vegas Claw. I hope you're not getting pissed. God bless you, brother. But he does joke around like he's 15 years old, talking about me and sniffing bottoms. And I don't know. He's like, that's not what I said. Something about my pants miss. I don't know what's going on over there. All right. Are you enjoying the stream? Show your appreciation and hit that like button. Shout out to everybody here on the live. So let's see what happens here to Bitcoin. I want to see the daily consolidate into a flag. If it does that, we're in the money. If it kind of falls down and makes a head, then... So if this dumps here, then you make the right shoulder, then we know what to do. I feel like we're going to know. It's going to tell us. Not just going to dump out of nowhere. It's going to show us a position. A posiciones. So look at this. I mean, the 4-hour is making that move right now that I was looking for last night. I just was a little early. I'm looking for the 4-hour to do something fun and to pump. And I'm looking for this to be kind of a bull flag that wants to do some damage. Should have bounced off the 21, though. I was surprised. Stochastics were low, not as low as they could have been. And I'm looking for that move, man. I'm looking for that gas. 1, 2, 3. Long channel to the upside, baby. Higher low on the 4-hour time frame. Once that candle closes, that will be a higher low. And it will be above previous support as resistance, which is why I didn't get stopped out as we went over before. I used this previous resistance as support. Even though I got into the trade up here, I put my stop all the way back down here. It's the only reason I'm still in the trade because I'm not greedy and I was willing to take a hit. See, most people want, like, if I got into this trade and was like, okay, I can only lose $200, I'm going to go right here. All those people got stopped out last night. So, and when I gave the trade to the group, I put the stop loss here where I showed it. This is a bigger trade. I said, we're going for, we're going up there. We're going up there, somewhere up in, you know what I mean? Look at, this technically could be the trade too right now on the 4-hour. You'd be front running that it closes and you're getting more oversold. Very similar to buying the lows of anything, and the moving averages are starting to get tight again. When these moving averages bunch up, and I've told this story like 100 times on the show, but when these moving averages bunch up like this, price action usually gets mangled. It comes out. When the price is outside of all these moving averages, the 200 lingers. I've seen this I think 1,000 times on 1,000 assets. We pump like a magnet up to the 200. Sometimes we get rejected. It ends up being the high, and we don't. Other times we kind of rip above it. We hang. We kind of ding, and then the 21 catches. And when the 21 catches, you stay above that 200. That's when the bang happens, man. And that's the trade of trades. And, so I perfected kind of trading up to the 200, and I perfected trading on that movement. And that's kind of my sauce. And that usually gets me through. If we have a reversal, reversals in general of any asset are usually double this length. Like when we went from that last low in April, even this low here to there, that was like 65 all the way back to, this thing here, right? I caught, me doing what I just showed you catches me about half the move, and then I just start riding it with more flags that keep coming. And eventually we catch the divergence or a head and shoulder pattern, and then the 200 and the 21 get far apart. So it's all about using the moving averages when they're tight. And look, when the moving averages were close together, that was the move. And look, here's the magnetic move here. They were all tight. They were getting close. And look, we just got this monster pump up to the 200. It's crazy. I've seen it a lot. Listen, I'm not saying, you know what I mean? Again, nothing is guaranteed, but I've seen this so many times in my life. So, hey, we'll see what happens. We need a candle close. I don't like this wick getting that big. I want us to we got to come up here. I'd like to close somewhere in this vicinity, 65,300, something like that for Bitcoin. All right. That's what I like. And then a move up to what, like 68,760? Yeah. So I'm out here in Lake Villa, Illinois. It's been amazing, honestly. It's been a good run out here in Lake Villa. I don't know if anyone else spends time on Lake Villa, but it's been amazing. And shout out to all my people in Illinois. It's been awesome. So, yeah. Cool pressure washer. It looks like an actual... It's crazy. Like, but Lakeville, Illinois, yeah, come on in. It's 56 and raining. I don't know. Not the best day out there, so. Can we get this pump to the upside all the way up to 68,700 for Bitcoin? That would be beautiful. And it resembles to me a bit of a cup here and a handle. So, like, I see a cup and handle that could actually go for more. Like, it could take us somewhere up to here. 72K really is what I'm looking for. Honestly, this could just pump, get rejected. I like sideways price action too as well. And then I know it make my right shoulder. It might even continue to dump. And we might end up down here and Now, if it dumps, what do I do? Do I have a plan, or am I like stuck on it only going one way? No, I have a plan. Let's take a look at the 1 hour time frame. So what would happen is this 15-minute, right, we'll do something bearish. Right now, we need to see a cup and handle out of here. Right? We need to see a cup and handle on the 15-minute breakout. We need to see the 15-minute get above the 200 moving average. Right off the bat. If the 1 minute has broken above the 200, we need to see it hold. This doesn't look amazing. So we need to connect these two dots here, connect this here. We need this to we need this to do an inverted right now. See this or not? Maybe we got to stay above this 200 on the 1 minute. We start to lose the 200 on the 1 minute, we're going to start to fall, and then it kind of, I'm not saying it's every time, but for the most part, that could begin some downfall. That kind of looks a little bearish too, a little, not amazing, but hey, we're back above the 200 with a pretty strong pump here for Bitcoin on the 1 minute time frame. We'll see how this kind of prevails. So I'm teaching you how the time frames meld together. So this is kind of the hard part of trading. Like everyone else can show you stochastics, RSI, Fibonacci, but the time frames are really what gets, I think, a lot of people confused. And it took me years because I'd figure something out in the 1 hour. And then someone's like, oh, but you got to look at the 4 hour. And I'd be like, what do you mean, man? I just did all that work and it's ready to go. And then the 4 hour then, and then, oh, but now you look at the daily and oh, but now the 15. And next thing you know, I'm looking at all these time frames and one says one thing, one says another. And I have and so what I learned is the mind will work if you give it time. So this is what happened for me. You got to sleep well. And I worked out. I was working out during the entire process of learning technical analysis. So I think it was helping my mind because my mind was always getting a rush of blood every day. And it was a hardcore workout that really got me going in the morning. And I can't wait to get back. So that really gave me an adrenaline rush, put my mind, and it got me going and helped my focus too as well. I had a better focus when I did that. Now, as I continue to grind, it helped me figure out that the time, because one time frame, I'd be comfortable. Then I'd add a new time frame and I wouldn't be comfortable anymore. I'd be completely lost. You see what I'm saying? And I'd have to kind of and it would take some time for my subconscious mind to catch up. It would though. You see what I mean? Eventually it would understand how to read the 15 and the 1 hour. Then I added the 4 hour and I was confused again because, eventually I understood, okay, we got to wait for low. We're looking at, you know what I mean? And I eventually knew how to read the 15, the 1 hour, and the 4 hour. Then I added the daily. And it was kind of like people, when you learn piano, I don't know if you ever played piano, some people here, or an instrument or anything, But piano specifically, like, you know, you know, if it's a really hard piano piece, you learn pieces of it. Like, you learn the left hand, then you learn the right hand, then you learn the left hand, then you play them, then you slowly put them together, and then you do the song. And, like, you know, for me, some people are geniuses, you know, maybe it's different. But for me, you know, I learn pieces of the songs, and I put them together. Same thing here. You learn TA in pieces. Now, look, I can go from the monthly all the way to the 1 minute. My subconscious mind can hold it. Like, it can actually hold that information. It's sitting there. I give it every day, all the time. So my mind is really ingrained with it on a constant basis, you know. So I'm looking for this pump, folks, in the 4 hour. I like the front run this move. It's starting to look pretty chunky. Bitcoin's holding 65,000. So what you're looking for is you're watching the 1 minute flag here. Stay above the 200, get tight, and break out. Back to my break-even price of like 65.8. And then you're also looking for the 4 hour to close a candle here at 12 o'clock in the bullish region. We get both of those signals, you know, together, kind of combined. And that's how you're using two time frames too. We're using the 1 minute for confirmation of the 4 hour time frame. And this is like, you know, and that's why, you know, I don't always take the time for the shows to do time frames, because you can't always kind of get this intricate. But today, this is how the show went. And some days the show is heavy trading. Some days, and we're in a trade right now. We're fighting through it. Like, we're not saying this is heavy trade. We got 2 trades open. We're not live trading, but the idea, you know, we're not live. Funny. We are live trading, right? I'm a genius. I ate Taco Bell. I don't know what that means, but God bless you, brother. And that's not, I didn't say that. I'm reading something. They taught you, oh yeah, it's you. And again, I didn't even know who it was. And then I see that it's you. They taught you the left hand first. Interesting, teaching the chords before the melody. That's funny. You're hilarious. The PX workout was no joke, man. Absolutely. That'll get adrenaline going, dopamine, all that good stuff that the brain wants. 100%. Are you enjoying the stream? Show your appreciation and hit that like button, baby. I'm walking more now. Caltech, oh, yeah. I don't know why you're saying that. I have one of those, though. Funny. But, you know, you don't want to, yeah, you don't want to put that stuff out on the live stream, man, please. Previously knew Fed is typically caused Bitcoin to crash over 15 to 30, but let's hope this one is different and we full send. I mean, it would be awesome if it all kind of goes our way. Bitcoin getting a nice little pump here to the upside. You know, this is what we're looking for, the 4 hour to eat that wake up. Oh, it doesn't have to bullishly engulf. Just if it closes something like this, you got 45 minutes for this candle to close. That could be a nice, strong close. And I'm looking for this thing to bull flag its way back to the upside here on this higher low for Bitcoin, as the 1 hour also could fight its way through this flag. I mean, the 1 minute. So, you know, something like this we got cooking now. And look, it did kind of invert and head and shoulder, as messy as it was. And look at that. I mean, that price action's not... I've been staying away from my 1 minute scalps. You've noticed why, right? Even though, I mean, that would have been an entry right there on the 21 and is slightly cooking, but the volatility is not your friend right now. No long, no short. The bigger time frames are your friend. The deeper stop losses. So, like, when it gets really volatile and I know markets are sketch, I switch to bigger time frames, you know, deeper stop losses. When the market's better with a lot of liquidity, why is that? Well, let's talk about it. The market's really good. A lot of people are jumping in, right? That means there's a lot of, I don't want to make a, you know, there's a lot of traders that don't have as much experience. There's novice traders that don't know a lot, right? They're kind of ignorant to a lot of information. And so there's like minnow by minnow by minnow. Let's think about that. 1,000, and they're rushing in, and the second a green candle comes in, they're in there, right? And so my setup has a green candle, and then there's a little flag on the 1 minute. That's probably a green candle on like the 1 hour that everyone saw and just rushing in. And then my 1 minute is ripping, right? It's like, and I'm making my $1,000 in a few minutes, or $500, you know what I mean? And my trade's going away. We're all like, yeah, I'll move my stop loss. And it's caused by so much retail, right? And again, my stop is here and never gets hit because so many people are basically, you know, button pounding the green candle, right? You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Mouse tapping the green candle, bang, bang, bang. So the smaller time frames work a lot, and there's less likely for me to get taken out. Summer comes around, it's a little different. We get less volume, less people in the market. You know, average Joe is going to sit in front of his computer now. He's going to go, you know, till Coachella, whatever, you know what I mean? Whatever next thing he's been invited to go, you know, I'm just saying. I'm outside now, bro. Especially the people in cold weather, you know, Pittsburgh, Boston. We're talking all that type of stuff. So now what? Well, now you have less people in the market. So now you have less people in the market. The 1 minute doesn't have the minnows. The bigger time frames, you still have enough people, though, that come in and out. And you still have the crowd that, you know, the beginner crowd, and you still have new people. So the bigger time frames work better. The whole point is because, you know, you don't have as much buffer. All right. So like the 15 minute might hold you, the 1 hour might hold you, but the 1 minute to the 10 to the 15 might just be a up and down wreck because you just don't have enough order book space. And you'll kind of see it too in the sloppy price action. Like price action will be tighter when there's more people in the market because it keeps the price action tight. When there's less people in the market, look, you have these crazy spreads, right? Bing, bing, bong, bing, bing, because it's like searching the market. It's seeking and destroying who it can. Like, oh, I'm going to go up here and snatch. I'm going to go down there and snatch. I'm going to come up. Now I'm going to make it so tight they're going to go on either side. I'm going to pick my way when I have it doesn't even know which way it's going to go until enough people do the wrong thing. Isn't that crazy? It's not like predetermined. It's predetermined by the behavior. Isn't that weird? Like it knows what it will do when the people do what they do. It's kind of weird. Price action works similar to like the double split there. There's some quantum stuff going on here at all times. It's pretty crazy. The universe it reveals the universe we live in a bit because you realize like it's a mirror of who we are when we buy and sell, what we do. We leave this track record of being emotional. If people didn't leverage trade like this or go after these key positions, we wouldn't see the movement that we do on the market, right? It's all basically, this is all us. It's kind of interesting when you think about it. You know, this is all basically our track record of the human being out there. Just mind-boggling. You know, I find that absolutely amazing. So, shout out to everybody here on the live. Thank you for jumping on in. So let's see what happens here. Might liquidate the shorts pretty crazily. We're getting close to it. I'd say in the next 4 to 5 minutes, something's going to happen here for Bitcoin. We're getting a little too coiled up, a little too tight. And it could go either way. Pump up to 65.9, a pump down to clear out the longs there at 64.6. I'd still stay on the trade amazingly well. Amazing if that happens, but we'll see. Crypto bubbles of the day and the week. We've had a pretty good week. On the day, let's see what happened. VVV back up. Aster, 16%. I like Aster. I think it's a long-term hold. I think it has use case. May not be amazing right now, but I don't buy things when they're amazing. SPX with a little bit of a pump. It was on my radar, actually. It looked good. It had a nice setup. TA was there. Beat crawling back. Lit okay. Arrow. With that dump last night for Bitcoin, it kind of slowed the altcoins down for a split second. Made them kind of take a little bit of a halt. Let's take a look at OTHERS.D, though, and see what's happening. So, look, this is the initial idea, too. The 45-minute chart held the 200 moving average. If I can delete my, oh, yeah, that's what I just did on the 1 minute. But, see, the 45-minute held the 200 moving average. Let's see if that holds. You know, that might be the balance there that we need. We'll see. We'll see. 65,250 for Bitcoin. If you're just jumping on in, my name's Sam Price. Thank you for being here. God bless each and every one of you for jumping on in and being absolutely amazing. We love you guys, and we appreciate each and every one of you for being here. Shout out to Google, YouTube, and the opportunity to be here every single day. I appreciate it. You know, we use no profanity on the show. Do what we can to make it family friendly. And, you know, if there's people that want to watch, like I know a guy's like, oh, you know, me and my 16-year, you know, whatever, you know, me and my son watch it together. I'm not saying super young. I mean, you know, people do watch it with their significant others. They get a lot out of the show. And so, yeah. And people watch it too while they're gardening, while they're doing stuff, while they're, you know, no one wants to hear swears while you're getting ready for the day. You know, you want to be enlightened, you want to be uplifted, and that's what we do here on the show every single day. And say, man, and I show up every single day in a good mood because God keeps me in a good mood, and I just want to, you know, say thank you, dear Lord, and God bless everybody here on the channel. So look, there's the bit of a, there's some of the sauce right there again, the 21 above the 200 in that flag. I can't even get into the nitty gritty and make that a little bit of, that's a little flag right there. Love to see that pump up to 65,940 for BTC. Love to see it. Let's see if it can happen, baby. Shout out to the likers and the lifers. See what I did there? Shout out to the likers. Shout out to all the likers, man. We have over 1,000 people here on the stream. 336 likes. Let's get the likes up to the watchers. I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right. Let's take a look at what's happening around the horn here for Bitcoin 2 and how the market's kind of serving us. I did get the boat yesterday. It worked out. The ride was very, very crazy. It was bumpier than I thought, windier than I thought. I had a full-blown coat on, and I made it through. But it was a couple times the boat was definitely airborne. Definitely airborne. I'm not saying it did. I don't think the wind could have flipped it over in the outside, but I was definitely airborne, man. And there was some swells that came inside of the chop. So like you'd be through chop, and then there would be like a swell wave that like, or 2 or 3 swells inside the chop that like sent the boat on. Just like, it was a bit crazy. I'm lucky to be alive. I'm happy everything's okay. It was insane. Yeah. No, I made it through. And back to the bay. It was nice and beautiful. Took my kids around the little lake that I have the boat in. It was amazing. Anyway, back to what's going on here. In the last 24 hours, what's hot? Aster is up, man. Back to 76. I like Aster. And SPX, I had a call on that, actually. It looked nice. I've also had a call on Lit for the last week, and it is up on the week, 20%. ENA is also an interesting coin that likes to pump. Celestia. TIA was also in a flag for the first time in a long time. And it did kind of pump out that flag last night. So we had a little... All coins look good last night. I want to talk about this. I want to break it down for you. Look at Bitcoin pumping, man. I like it. Look at it. It's an inverted head and shoulder. You can see it, right? It's got a measured move to the upside. They can be slanted. We call these slanted, drunken, inverted head and shoulders. What did he just say? Say that 10 times fast. Slanted, drunken, inverted head and shoulders. That's right. Slanted, drunken, inverted head and shoulders. Slanted, drunken, inverted head and shoulders. Slanted, drunken, inverted head and shoulders. May God bless you all for being here. Thank you again. I love it. And I'm so blessed to have an opportunity to be here all summer long, folks. We will not stop. I know other people take the summer off, but not the lifers. We continue to provide every single day, constantly. And I didn't tell my wife about Kevin Warsh today, so I got to talk about it. I believe I'll be here for Fed Day. I should be. But I want to let her know. She doesn't know yet. She might be like, dang. So we'll see what happens. A lot going on today. Very busy day. Very busy day. Wow, NKN. XLM did... Let's see if it got the bounce on that daily I was looking for. Oh my gosh, it did exactly what we wanted it to do off the 200 moving average, see? So you can look in the 706 Fibonacci retracement. I gave this to the trading group. We talked about it. We went over it. Beautiful bounce, right? You keep that previous resistance as support. You put a stop loss below resistance there, which is now support. Get in right when it's just above that 200. Oh my gosh, what a trade. 18 to 2277. Shout out to anyone that took the call on Stellar Lumens. I see it going all the way up to 32. Did XRP follow the call? And again, I'm going to show you some, a little bit of a move. XRP doesn't look as strong for whatever reason. I don't know. I don't want to say anything. There's a cult on XRP. People love it. I'm in between on it. You know what I mean? I think a lot of retail's kind of stuck in it. And is it AI? You see what I'm saying? Does it have like AI, agentic AI, payment network? Like what's, you know what I mean? Tokenization. It does have some type of tokenization, right? And it should be connected to the banks. But man, what's going on with XRPZ? You know? It's really just a long-term DCA at this point. It is at the weekly 200 moving average, which notoriously is an amazing place to buy any asset in the world. So, hey, you buy it here, you hold it for a long period of time, you sell it when it goes up somewhere here. So, it's telling you, hey, great time to buy XRP. If you're willing to hold it, but it doesn't mean you're going to make money overnight. It means, hey, this could take, like, that's 10, 12 weeks right there just for a little bit of move. Like, and that says, hey, you get it paid by March of 2027. All right, so that ain't too bad. It's actually less than a year hold. And we might see a pretty big move. Some type of super cycle pump. But at that point, I mean, so much money in the world. Crypto just going to keep taking it. You know, it's got to go somewhere. All that gold, all that money in gold. So remember, back to the idea, gold was pumped outrageously So they pumped and dumped the biggest asset with one of the biggest market caps in the world by trillions of dollars. You know what I mean? And they pumped and dumped it like a meme coin, man. Like overnight, that thing was swinging like a pendulum. So it makes you realize, like, anything can be pumped and dumped, man. If they can pump and dump gold like that, then when anyone calls anything a pump and dump, I'm like, well, so I was like, just like gold. And I'm a big gold bug. I love gold. Like, I actually started accumulating it. Like, I have a deep relationship with gold. I'm not just got some guy that talks about gold. Like, I actually really like gold. I started buying it from Peter Schiff from Schiff Gold. That's why I finally had my piece. It was really nice that I got that time to talk to Peter. I recorded it. It's on my channel. If you ever want to hear me and Peter go at it, it's an awesome discussion. I start talking about proof of work. I don't think he knows what's going on, and then like that's kind of it. The only reason Bitcoin has any value is because of its hash rate, how much Bitcoin it takes to make a Bitcoin, and how many people can participate in the network. Right? The network itself is why Bitcoin's reliable, and it's why Bitcoin's secure. People don't realize this about Bitcoin, and that's why, to me, it's an industrial revolution. Like, it's an amazing thing, a digital industrial or a digital revolution to any industry, because in that case, to me. So look, a man goes out into the field and he shovels, and there's a lot of human energy. I don't know. Hold on. Let's just at least draw a man and then a shovel. All right, just real simple stuff. Well, flat on the top, on the bottom, whatever, right? So a guy's got a shovel. He goes out, he shovels. What are you talking about, Sam? I'm talking about human energy, 8, 9, 10 hours a day. He gets paid an hourly rate for the shoveling. Let's just say whenever time, 1980, $10 an hour, right? Boom. Yay, he gets his money, $80 for a day. He works 5 days, right? And he makes his $400, right? I hope you can do math. I did the math, yeah. Anyway, so 8 times 4 is 32, man. 32 but late, 40, man. So anyway, the idea is, okay, now he puts this, he keeps this in a savings in US dollars, and 10 years later, like all the days that he worked $80, he really worked $40 for. You see what I mean? And if he does it for like 15, maybe even 20 years, like he basically worked probably maybe $20 now, maybe even less. It might even be like 15. It could even go to 10. So he was working for $10. If he doesn't know how to invest, and he doesn't know what to do with his money, and he has no idea how to go against inflation, and he just puts it under a mattress and saves his money, quote unquote, he's just going to end up getting basically, and what if he was outside in the heat? What if he gave extra effort? What if he stayed late 1 hour but forgot to add it because he just wanted to make it nice? Whatever it was. Some people are like that. I'm sometimes get sucked into working too hard. I'm Irish, and I don't know why. It's just part of our nature. We'd rather give a little more on top than be the one that's trying to like nickel every dime, because then we know we're stronger than the people that nickel every dime because they're the weak ones. I don't know. It's a weird mentality, right? Because like, but whatever. Some people say you could take it advantage of, but not too much, just a little bit. The idea behind this is, now, what if he was paid in Bitcoin at the time? And this was 20 years ago, 10 years ago, right? Now look how much money he would have. Every time he got $80, it'd probably be worth at least $320, $340. Might even be worth $400 now. Even if Bitcoin has a slow incline, right? What if Bitcoin was 3,000 at the time? It's now 60K, right? I mean, that's amazing. That's a 20x. So let's just say that happened to him. Now, what if he did it at the top when Bitcoin was 120 and now he has less, already half, and he could have had 80 still? That's the argument for BTC. He has to have like a 10-year outlook, right? And that's why someone like this is supposed to DCA over time. Not supposed to just pile in their whole paycheck that night. They're supposed to figure out, okay, I'll start buying a little bit, $60 a week. I make $1,800 a week. I'll put 100. I'll take 10. I'll take 10%. I'll put into Bitcoin every week. You know what I mean? At the end of the month, and I'll do that every week without thinking about it. I'll do that for the next 5 years, and then I can either stop or keep doing it. And then I'll wait 5 years. And if you do that, generally speaking, it is panned out. It will, you know what I mean? There will be some harder times, up or down, you know what I mean? So, and why I'm saying this is, then some people take their hard-earned money and put it into Bitcoin. I think over time, because Bitcoin won't be printed to zero, and it will get scarcer and scarcer due to, institutions, that's going to be just a better form of value than the dollar. And because of that, it's going to go up in value, right? You see what I'm saying? So I stack sats in, man, and I don't stop. And the more FUD I see, the more excited I get, because I'm like, those are the prices that I've been waiting for. Like, that's what I'm talking about. Bitcoin stifling out here. Let's see what happens. Can it continue this upward momentum? Don't forget, it's Kevin Worst. The closer we get to 12 o'clock, the tighter it'll get. Then we'll get the Fed. We get the Fed at 2 o'clock. That's when the actual rate comes out. And then at 2:15, he starts to talk. The live streams will start at like 1:30 for whatever reason, because it kind of gets you hyped and gets you going. I usually don't do that because it's like you got to sit there for 40 minutes. I like to start at like 2 and get it going at 2:15, but we'll see what happens. That is above the 200 on the 21. There's your 200. There's your 21 moving average. We're getting tight. I would expect a bounce here to the upside for Bitcoin out of this kind of finagled ascending triangle here to the up. I expect Bitcoin to pump right now on my command. And I expect it to pump to 66,000. And that is the decree. Nothing else is going to happen here. That's it. I have spoken and I've told you where Bitcoin's going. And that is it. It will go only to the upside now. And only what I suggest it should go. No, anything could happen, honestly. But it's likely that this prediction stands. Wow, I'm in the lowest I've ever been now, 375. Very close there, too. And I'm getting really close to break even here on my trade. So even I get underwater, I just want to make that clear. I'm still up 500 bucks. What, 4? Yeah, no, yeah, 500 bucks in the day right now. As you can see, they cancel each other there to 500. And very little fees, 25 and another 25. So, like, that's still 450 after everything. After everything. 469, see it showing me with the fees. So, everything okay. Shout out to WEEX, man. God bless you guys. Thank you. We appreciate it. And today we're doing something cool on WEEX. May have already been done. It's a fast finger moment here. But if you're new, you jump into WEEX right now. You use my code, jump on in. You register it, hit the net deposit 1,000 during the event, which is today, right now, during this live stream. And then you trade 100 USDT in futures. You can get 50 bucks USDT per user, limited to the first 5 people that jump on in. So it's quick. It's got to be fast. Got to be done. It's right there. Check it out. All right. On WEEX, baby. All right. Thank you so much, man. We appreciate that. And it might have been probably fulfilled already, knowing the way these people trade, man. You guys are all savages on the charts, man. It's like, and people in my group are really serious. They know I'm serious. They're not going to come and play around. So when you're in my group, you're around a lot of serious people that really want to win. And there's people with great strategies, tips, tricks, and ideas, things that do, kind of on top of what I'm showing you. And you can learn a lot, right? We even have some other upsells inside the group. And you're like, you know what? I want to learn more. Or what? This is for people who keep getting liquidated. They keep pushing it. They keep saying they're going to do the right thing and they don't. Some people need a babysitter, man. I'm serious, and I hate to say it, but they need a drill sergeant. They need a babysitter. And I'm not trying to say that's what we are, but we do have an accountability area, and that's leverage mastery. Come on in. Let's talk about your trades 3 times a week. Give us an hour. We'll Zoom with you. I got an amazing teacher in there. The guy's awesome. I handpicked him out of the crazy internet. We found each other. We became friends, and actually, I felt he was great. So he can teach you a lot. He's amazing, and I've met so many traders with so much information. And I've only handpicked this guy out of 5 years. In 5 years, there's only one person I've ever even considered. So check it out, man. Look at leverage mastery. Even if it's just something you add on to what you already know. You're not at every single session, but if you really need the sessions, they're there for you. And that's just more hands-on inside the Discord. Check it out. Okay. And again, nothing I say and do should be taken as financial advice. I'm just a live stream trader. I live stream my life. I sit here every day and trade for 2 hours. I love this time frame for trading. It's really good. It sets the precedent for the day. It gives me a clear look for where we're going to go into the afternoon, into the night. And I just, it works for me. So I like this 10 to 12 slot. If you like this 10 to 12 slot, jump on in with me. I'm here every single day, Monday through Friday. And then Saturday and Sunday nights at 8 p.m., my own little time that I just like. When the daily candle closes, I figured, so we can get that information together, hang out, have some fun. And we're a little more gleeful. It's a little more fun on Saturday night. I try to make it more like Johnny Cash meets, technical analysis meets, Joe Rogan or something. I don't know. I don't even think that's a good, that's probably not even the best description, but I try to make it fun. I do make it fun. Sorry. I make it fun. I make it amazing. We have fun. We do have fun. Get that word try out of here. We have fun. It's awesome. Come to the show Saturday night, man. I'm telling you, it'll blow your mind. It's awesome. So, okay, I want to show you something that's brewing right now. If we have, we might not even have time. I didn't even put my rollie on this morning. That's when you know I'm in the charts. Others.D, right? Let's take a look at Others.D. See what's happening. So this is Others.D. This is the altcoins, man. And I had this kind of set up and drawn. Look at this. Look at my drawings. My name's Simon, and I like to draw, and I like to make drawings. So look at this. I mean, that's looking pretty nice. Now, let's take a look at the flag. It's on the 21, above the 200 on the daily. What just looked like this in pump? World coin, right? And honestly, is this world? It's interesting, right? So we're starting to see, Aster made a move. Last night, we did see some movement here. You can see Others.D. This is dominance of all the altcoins, of a certain amount of altcoins, right? Total market cap excluding the top 10. You see? So this is like the bot, you know what I mean? Less than, take the top 10 altcoins out. This is the others. And look, we had what I look for. We were in this kind of inverted head and shoulder, but we were getting tight. Somewhat of a cup and handle. The 21 hit on the 200. We bounce off the 21. We're on the 21 now, above the 200. Another leg could be coming here, and it looks interesting. And then I look at Bitcoin dominance, because you want to look at these two together and juxtapose them. And I look at them, I look at Bitcoin dominance here on the daily. Look, it's curving down. It got rejected by the 200 moving average. Like, look, this is a known, like when we're above the 200, we start to move up. You can even say a kind of bounce. It's bouncing out of like what looks like a falling wedge or bull flag. That usually goes to the top of the flag, at least for like the double bottom, double top. So like, I see Bitcoin dominance about to kind of fall here to these two levels, and we're seeing some altcoins look interesting. XLM picked up some liquidity. So, and then what you want to do is you want to start looking at some BTC pairs and say, hey, you know what I mean? Is there anything going on? So you look at like XLM BTC. And you'll see, I mean, look at that. I mean, it's going to look opposite of what we just saw for Bitcoin dominance. So once you see Bitcoin dominance flipping, you're flipping to, like, you can start, and then and that whole point now, what people don't realize is they're doing all this other stuff. They're trading, right? The whole point now is to trade, honestly, to trade these pairs for Bitcoin as they start a momentous move above their daily 200 moving average. When the daily moving averages were tight, right, which is kind of like, we're pretty close. This is our first cross. I mean, this is where, like, if this turns into a monumental move, this is where the beginning could be just be happening right around here before a pump. And it looks like you're going to get some continuation to the upside. I would look in the smaller time frames, but yeah, look at that. So Stellar Bitcoin is about to rip. How do you trade this? Well, there's BTC pairs on the exchange, and you can use that. There's also spot trade. You can spot trade these pairs, and that's Bitcoin. How you can trade Stellar for Bitcoin. And again, say I put one Bitcoin in here today, and look at that. It would make me 1.2. It would make me 20% on my Bitcoin. Imagine printing. So the point is, during these kind of times when Bitcoin's more stagnant, is to use altcoins that generate more Bitcoin. Like, that's really should be the goal. For me, the end result should be more Bitcoin at the end of the year. What did you do to aim to earn more Bitcoin? You see what I'm saying? And again, for me, that's what I'm asking myself. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not a financial. You do whatever makes you happy. But that, to me, if I stick to the script and I stick to that goal over time, I'm going to accumulate more Bitcoin than most people. And then when it's ripping, I'll be, in a better place than most people. I'll be able to borrow against it. I'll have a nest egg for my kids and my family. They won't need to worry. They'll have the best, cleanest money in the game. It'll become, quantum resistant. I believe everything will happen the way it's supposed to. If not, there'll be some other new thing that I'll jump into, and I will get into it, just like I got into Bitcoin. And you say, before I got into Bitcoin, I used to look at the stock market and I used to think, how am I going to become, you're 24 years old, right? Some of you, you're younger, right? You're a young kid. You want to make it in the game. You're on this channel right now because you're probably a finance guy. You want to trade. You want to make money. You want to become that big time trader. You want to walk around with the Rolly or the Auto, the Audemars, whatever. It is what it is. But you got this idea of becoming wealthy, changing your generational, your generational tree, your platform, right? And again, you're like, okay, I'm going to do this. That's how I was. And so you look at the world and you're like, what can I invest in to change my life? How can I become a multimillionaire, billionaire, right? And I used to think about it, man. I used to think, how am I going to get there? What am I going to do? And, man, I had this angst at like 23, 25. It's got to happen. Like by 25, I got to be a multimillionaire. But like the world just doesn't work like that. When you're young, you think it does. You think you can will it into some, and then you'll see these kids online that are super young and something happened to them, And a lot of those kids, you have to realize they started doing whatever they were doing at 9, 10 years old for whatever reason. The kids that are big now, 24, 25 years old, look at the Paul brothers. They were making videos at 9, 10 years old. You see what I'm saying? So like, yeah, they didn't hit it till 24, but they were doing it for 14 years, So the younger kids had more access than I did to the internet. The internet wasn't around like that when I was a kid. It was like Carmen Sandiego, dial up with AOL. Like there was chat rooms and a few little things and some like Mozilla, Google, a Mozilla search or something. I remember something called Metacrawler I used to use. Is that even out anymore? You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm not sour about it. I'm just, and I use the internet to my advantage, and many people did. The only thing is, this young generation really has that. They can get rich. I'm seeing, the kids weren't making, you see kids 24, 25, 100 mil, 200 mil. Just absolutely, and not just in trading and all sorts of stuff. Logging, trading, apparel, clothing, you name it. Like, just like, it's insane. It's actually awesome. I think it's great. Like, look at the opportunities. They don't got to go to school. They're paying their parent. They're buying their parents' houses. They don't got to go. You know what I mean? They're doing amazing things with their lives. And it's out there for anyone that wants to change their life, right? I know some people that joined my trading group. And with the trading group, they got into the right mindset. So subscribe. Jump on in today. It's an amazing place to be. I love selling education. I stand by it. I think it's a great school. Harvard does it. Yale does it. I think the Sam Price University here, Crypto Lifer 99 trading group is really the place to be. So I love the information I give, and I love how we do it. Every single morning, wake up with gratitude. Talk about looking for a mindset, building the mind that creates the trading. Is this the mindset, Sam? Is this what you're talking about? No, but seriously, you build the mindset that creates the trading base. It's just like going to the gym, I'm telling you. And you'd say, how? Why? What do you mean? Well, it comes down to this theory. The guy that got into shape, the person that gets into shape, right? That person, 9 out of 10 times, 100 out of 100 times. So every time, they eventually get sick and tired of how they're looking in the mirror, or they see a friend that's looking really good, or something inspired, or sometimes it's a health scare where the doctor says, you got to start walking twice a day, man. You can't eat that no more. You can't drink no more. Sometimes it is a health scare that forces it. But whatever it is, 100 out of 100 times, the person says, you know what, I'm going to change my life. I signed up to this gym near my house, or I'm going to go to the gym tomorrow. I'm going to check it out. I signed up to it, or I'm going to order that machine that I really wanted. I'm going to start working out in the morning. They make some mental change. I tell people, if you're struggling right now and you're having a hard time trading, you're depressed, you think you're not worth it, you talk negatively to yourself, and a lot of your trades go wrong, and you keep saying everything I do sucks. I've never been good at anything, so of course I suck at trading. If you find yourself saying that, because I found myself saying those exact things, so I know exactly where you're at if you're there, the first way out of that is to build up some type of confidence. The only way to build confidence is within ourselves, right? No one can truly give you self-confidence. It can only be built from inside. Where do you get self-confidence? In looks. And how you look. If you like the way you look, you're going to feel good, period. You're going to look at yourself in the mirror and be like, you know what? I feel good. I like the way I look in a suit and pocket square. I love it. That's why I wear it on my channel. I like the way I look in it. I feel good. I want to feel good for each and every one of you. I want my channel to go well. So you got to start working out if you're struggling. You have to start working out if you're struggling. I'm telling you right now, it's so important. Once you get a workout routine, and some people are like, I can't. I keep saying I want to do it. I can't. So now you got to start a small workout routine. You got to say, can I do 20 push-ups, 20 sit-ups, and 20 burpees, man? Like, you know what I mean? Right when I wake up in the morning. And do a 5-minute workout. Or say, can I work out for 5 minutes? Play a workout video for 5 minutes, get through 5 minutes of it, turn it off. Do that 3 times a week. It might be so strange, but most people can do 5 minutes. It's, you know what I mean? If you say, I'm going to go to the gym every week and I'm going to do these 45-minute workouts, get a trainer, and you don't do that stuff. Look at that nice pump for Bitcoin, baby. Let's go to the upside, baby. Let's go. And that should bring us on, baby. Let's go. Let's go. Only down 250 in the trade. Sammy digging out the hole. Let's take a look at what's happening to WorldCoin right now, and let's jump into your chats. But so you keep working out, and then fine, next week you give yourself maybe 2 weeks of that, then you give yourself 10. 2 weeks more, you give yourself 15. And that means 2 months from now, you're working out 15 minutes a day. And then that means, and you keep edging it up 5 minutes till you get to that. All I needed was a 25 to 30 minute workout a day, really, with a little bit of stretching to stay in like really optimum shape, keep my heart going, and really keep, and then I threw in like, a walk with my wife and some other stuff. So look, we got onto WorldCoin down here. This was the initial trade, seeing if this could pump. It did actually, made it halfway. We're going to see if that, we're kind of still in limbo. No stop loss got hit in that scalp. I'm still in the trade from down here, stop loss kind of position, so we're seeing where we can go here. And I want to teach you guys how you don't have to use a lot of money. I paid $5 in fees to get into the trade. I used $259 at 20x leverage here on WEEX. It turned it into a pretty big position. Let's talk about it. So look, how do you make $918 off $259? It's a great question. I would really want to know if I was watching this channel and I didn't know how to trade. So 259 times 20 is $5,189.80, right? So that's how much money they gave me to be inside this trade. Understand? And so what I need to do is I need this position to go up from when I got into the trade, right? Look, man, we're pumping hard, folks. 65.7. We are ripping. And look, that's my sauce right there. I showed it to you. There's the 21. I said, that's where you enter the trade. So if you took the trade or you stuck with me on the long, and look, I didn't get liquidated even though they went down on that move. Only problem is that's a huge move. I feel like I got to sell my position. It's only going to go back down at one point. While my trade just did that 9, I was down $900. I held my ground there. That's amazing. Look, this is a never liquidation too on my WorldCoin position. But so look at this. So I get in on the bigger time frame. Let's see here, the daily up. Look, and I've already have the stop. You see this at plus 45. I can't lose any money on this trade. I'm in position. Now, if it closes there, it's not going to be the best. We'll see what happens to Bitcoin today. I want to see these both close green and rip. Getting a little far away from the 21, but we can continue. We make 3,000. We get to this target at 96, right? We're in position. We're going to see. It's taking some time. We've been in the trade about 2 days now, all right? So I want it to go, if it goes up 80%, I'm going to make 80% of $5,000, even though I only used $250 of my money. Isn't that crazy? Now, I use cross combined, so I will lose. I did have to, when I got into the trade, I risked 13. I risked about 1,200 for 3,300. That was the trade. So if it had gone down, I might have lost 500. I could have lost some money. Like, there was some high risk on that trade. I'm being honest. Like, you got to know your risk. You got to be able to handle that. And at one point, the trade was up like 1,400 at that high there at 72. Okay. And then you say, well, why does it say 300% then, Sam? I don't understand. Right? Like, I don't get it. And that would also be confusing to me. Because I used 259. And 259 times 3 is about 780. And then the 50% added on is half of that. And it's about $900. So I've turned $200 into $900. But and I'm attempting to make 80% of 5,000. Right? Which will then turn this trade into like, it'll be like 20. Then you turn, if I make 3,000, if I make $3,000, should I make the 3,300 divided by 259 in margin? It'll be a 12x, and it'll say 1,200% here. You see what I mean? Because I will have made 12 times my money on the 258. So, again, you got to know what you're doing. There's high risk behind all that. But that's one of the best explanations I've ever seen online when it comes to really like lever trading. And I rarely trade altcoins, man. I always say, this one's going well so far, but I am protecting the purse. It'll pay for the fees and some. I'll be, plus 58 ticks, baby. So we'll see what happens. Up $900 on that. The Bitcoin trade's starting to do some damage. Shout out to anyone jumping on in with the Bitcoin pump, man. We're pumping on Bitcoin. Shout out to the world, baby. Shout out to everybody. I love when Bitcoin gets a rippage to the upside here. And it always brings happiness to me when Bitcoin rips to the upside, right? Send it, baby. Send it. All of H is the upside. Bitty, bitty Bitcoin. There we are. And there we were. So, I mean, Bitcoin getting a nice bounce, too, on the 1 hour time frame. Like, I like what I'm seeing there. So, look, we just talked about this. I said I would long this. And I like the 4 hour pumping back to that looks like a cup and handle to me. That's about to do some serious damage out this handle. I don't know. People, I see a cup and handle. I'm probably, I'm biased to it. They call me Sammy Cup and Handle. Samuel Cup and Handy, Sammy Cup and Handy, Samuel Cup and Handle. They call me that. That's my nickname, baby. Because I love the cup and handle, baby. You'll see me traded a lot. Like a lot. Like, like all the time. Look, there's a beautiful gap in the VRVP. We got a POC. 77,000. Even this mini gap here isn't, is very doable. Back to 73K. This would be awesome. This would also pump that my world coin. It would be such a boom. Like this would pump. And so look, we got some Bitcoin dominance falling. We got Bitcoin looking like it could get a bit of a pump here. All setting up for Kevin Warsh coming as we get into 12 o'clock. And again, as we get to that lunchtime, by lunchtime, everybody knows. I think that's when the insiders are told what's happening. Because it always seems to pump at 12, like a little bit. But be careful, the pump before, whenever it pumps before we get it done, I don't know. It's going to be volatile. It's going to be crazy. Look out for my notification if we're live. All right? For what's going to happen, but bang. Look, that's a bullish engulfing candle on the 4 hour time frame, is it not? Look at that, baby. I stayed my ground, man. I stayed my ground. Amazing. Amazing. And, we'll see what happens. I was very close to getting hit right there on that trade. It got, and honestly, that's almost like, that's, stand on your ground, sticking to your trade is important, folks. You got to stick to the trade if you got to stick to your conviction here. Looks like we're going to really get to my break-even price. Maybe by the end of the stream in the next couple of minutes. This is awesome. I stay positive no matter what, and if you haven't got your stop loss hit, there's no reason to jump out the trade. If you want to trade where I trade, you want to know what I know, you want to see all the altcoins, I scan altcoins every day. I put out 5 to 10 altcoins almost every single day that look amazing. We find some of the hottest moves in the game. People have making amazing amounts with me. One dude made $6 grand the other day just off of one altcoin trade. Unbelievable. And follow us, man. Follow us, baby. We out here every single day, man. Follow us. Follow us. WEEX, man. Always doing something cool. And if you trade with me too, we're also doing a cool little thing. If you lock in your spot and you trade with me live, you can win $50 of gold or a Riviera escape to France. It's pretty awesome too as well. So we got so much cooking through the, and there's a link to that at the bottom of my video. The first thing you click on. Look at this. Seriously, joining the group already paid me for the year on Just Wild. Thank you, Sammy. Truly blessed. God bless you, man. I appreciate that. And look at Bitcoin's ripping on this little flag on the 1 minute time frame. Low stochastics, higher low. Send it, baby. Send it. Let's go. I'm only down 130 in a trade. I was just down 900, baby. That's like breathing fresh air, man. Let's get it. Let's get it. Imagine being this guy, man. Talked about it yesterday, but it just pains me. He has $600 million of Bitcoin, and it sits encrypted on an iron key wallet that he can't get. I mean, like, he has 2 chances left. If he keeps, he's got to hold off for better tech. I mean, he's going to hope that Quantum can eventually crack a Bitcoin wallet. And then if that happens, though, it's not going to be, like, if he gets the money, it's not good for Bitcoin. You know what I mean? I never thought about it. If you like kind of think that through with some game theory, hopefully there's like another way. I don't know. I heard some people have helped people do that by like, I don't know. I don't even want to say, but they go through the computer and the computer figures things out that they don't know is there. I don't know. Somehow AI cracked someone, right? They did find someone's Bitcoin last week or something. It happened, man. It wasn't like a hack though. It helped. It like figured out the password, the person's password or something through like who they were, right? Like it tried words and names and number, and it think about it. It can scan and continuously do so much. Stellar Lumen's getting the bump today. Tokenization's still kind of getting the add-on. And I think that's why we're seeing Bitcoin dominance fall, because it's like it's going to AI and tokenization. SpaceX too could be taking a little bit out of it. Let's take a look at SpaceX. I know y'all want to see it. We can look at it on the NASDAQ right now. I like to look at the NASDAQ chart to see. So it took a little bit of a dump back down to 180, 190, back to 195. All right. Kind of expected. So it got a nice little pump. A little bounce, though, off 190. Not much to go on just yet. Like really small price action. Just had a 200. You almost need the 1 minute. The 1 minute like can be our daily right now. I did get that beautiful call. Exact target, too. I don't know how. 218. I just took the measured move. That's all. I can't explain how that move works for me, but my measured moves are amazing. Really accurate. And I've seen that play out myself. And I don't want to talk about myself. It's just measured moves in general. If you just use TA, forget me. I'm just a man. It's like a fishing rod. Don't talk about the man. Talk about the rod. I just use the rod, boy. You can use the same rod as me. Caught the same fish. No, but seriously, it's like, fine, you touch the right buttons, and I get that, but this might make a nice little bump today. If it's kind of like seeing Bitcoin and SpaceX seem to be kind of maneuvering together a bit. We're headed to that target right there, 65,889. It's now a target, right, to get back to break even. It's kind of funny, but it's awesome. Let's get back into the chat. Let me see what's happening in the chat. The chat has been lit, right? Okay. Yeah. Exactly. Hey, Sam, you locked me out of the house. Please let me in. How could I lock you out of the house? How is that possible? Oh, yeah, you're right. With the screen door. Ah. Oh, my gosh. How long has this been going on? You know what I mean? Anyway, I got to go get my wife. I love each and every one of you. God bless you all. You guys are more important. I'm messing around. I was like, oh, that's about it. I love you all. God bless each and every one of you. Thank you so much for being here. Please comment, like, and subscribe. I like this 4 hour for Bitcoin. We're long in the trading group. I'm going to keep it going today, baby. Let's see what happens. Watch out on those shorts. Red is kind of moved. Big red has moved above us. It's disappeared. Still kind of a battle, but there's more red above us now. If I had to really judge it, and anything could happen, but 68,000 is looking pretty nice. So is 67. Let's go. Let's make this money. I want to make a couple grand, man. Let's rock it out. God bless you all. Thank you so much. I'll see you all tomorrow on a beautiful, amazing, absolutely butt-whipping live stream. God bless WEEX. God bless everybody here. Thank you for being here. Thank you for everyone who supports us, helps us out. And, yeah, shout out to everybody here on the channel. Thank you for being here. God bless you and your family. And, yeah. You know, the secret to success is getting started. You got to push every single day. Keep going. Nobody's going to be there for you. You got to keep going, folks. You got to be your best friend. I'm telling you, especially in trading. And don't over leverage. Don't go crazy, man. Learn something that will be there for you years to come. Don't feel like it has to happen overnight. That's why people get so messed up. That's why people get wrecked. Stay amazing. Stay blessed. I love y'all. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate it more than you would ever know. Thanks to YouTube, Google, everyone that makes the stream amazing. And God bless you all. See you all tomorrow for another amazing live stream. And remember, the secret to success, you know what it is. It's getting started, baby. Let's go. I know you can do this. I know you can, baby. I know you can. Let's go, baby. The livers. I'm out. I got to get my wife. God bless.